Hey, what is up guys? SANDSTORM here. Before we get into the video, I would like to introduce today's sponsor. What is Dragon City? Dragon City is a free-to-play game where you build your very own dragon empire. There are over 1,000 dragons to collect, but you start by breeding 2 dragons to get new ones, and watch them evolve over time by feeding them. The fun starts with training your dragons, and taking them into battle to make them even stronger. You need to collect food, gold, and gems in order to expand your city and unlock new levels. There are several events every week to enjoy, and there is even a brand new battle pass to discover with amazing new rewards and dragons. There are even dragons of popular YouTubers you may know, like Socks4One, Dream, George Not Found, and Wisp. All in all, this is a very vibrant game with a lot of great content that will keep you coming back, and I highly suggest trying it using the link on screen or in the description below. Using my link will net you exclusive rewards, including 15,000 food, 30,000 gold, and the extremely rare black metal dragon. Now, onto the vid. Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy SANDSTORM back at it again, finally, with another video. Today I will be teaching you the ins and outs of my tried and true weapon, Scythe. It has been a long time coming, and I hope you enjoy and learn something. This guide consists of a moveset breakdown, neutral, setups and punishes, offstage interactions, and matchups. Before we get into the guide, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications to know when I upload next. Also, don't forget to follow my socials in the description below. Let's get into it. First and foremost, Scythe is a string weapon, aiming to dish out the most damage from lost dodges. Scythe is one of the most complex string weapons in Brawlhalla, boasting a mechanic known as active input. This means when you hit certain moves on Scythe's kit, the player has the choice of where to send the opponent. Having little to no true combos, almost every successful interaction is reliant on specifically reading dodges, jumps, and fast falls to get the most damage possible. Scythe is at its strongest offstage, rivaling the likes of Gauntlets, being able to end stocks with the right reads in as little as 3 moves. It is no slouch on stage, however, with fast, threatening hitboxes and a high damage output, as well as decent range. However, Scythe struggles with reliable kill options without a read and has very precise hitboxes, so you can't really throw out a whole lot of moves without getting punished. It also has a weak spot, unable to protect itself from attacks directly above it. There are currently 7 Scythe legends to choose from: Mirage, Nyx, Mordex, Artemis, Jiro, Fate, and Volkov. Now that we have gone through the overview, let's analyze the moveset itself. Neutral Light. The Scythe user swings the Scythe upwards very quickly. It has a large hitbox and hits stacked. This move is extremely good in neutral as it is quick and hard to punish, and is really good at catching landings as it hits far in front of you. Side Light. The Scythe user does a quick swipe in front of them, throwing out a small hitbox. This move has 2 versions on hit. If you tap the directional key, you will do a small kick in front of you with no knockback, allowing for many follow-ups. This is called weak side light. If you hold the directional key, you will continue the attack with forward knockback. This is called heavy side light. Downlight. The Scythe user does a forward lunge with very long reach. This move has 2 versions on hit. Without holding forward, you will drag them behind you with no knockback, great for starting a read or continuing a combo. This is the weak downlight. If you hold forward, you will finish the move with a kick with decent knockback. This is the heavy downlight. This move is also good to keep people in check on the ledge. Neutral air. The Scythe user strikes diagonally up in front of them. This move has 2 versions. Without any directional input, you will do the normal version, kicking them in front of you. If you hold backwards, you will kick them behind you, doing reverse nair. This move is good as an anti-air, catching opponents' jumps from close up and afar. It is an important move for most Scythe strings, and it is also really good to recover with, threatening an opponent who may come off stage to edgeguard you. Side air. The Scythe user swings the Scythe in front of them, covering a decent area like Endlight. The bottom part of a hitbox is the strongest, with the top part being the weakest. This move is good to use with Nair for strings and is one of Scythe's only raw kill options. It is also great offstage for swiping away recovery attempts. Down air. The Scythe user strikes diagonally down and in front of them, with a similar reach to Nair. This move also has two versions, forward for sending opponents off stage, as well as providing specific string options. If you hold backwards, you will throw them behind you, doing reverse down air. This version is great for strings on and off stage. Recovery. The Scythe user spins the Scythe around, launching forward with decent momentum. This move is a strong kill option out of N-Light and weak side light off stage. When recovering off stage, it is better to use this option first instead of saving it, so you can use safer moves like Nair and Sair to recover with. And finally we have Ground Pound. The Scythe user strikes downwards with a linear hitbox. This is the hardest move on Scythe's kit to use right after many nerfs, but it is still a potent move. It is best used out of a combo or a surprise attack on the ledge. It is also an easy edgeguard tool when the opponent has no options. In Brawlhalla, I usually separate movesets in two different ways, moves best for neutral, and then moves best for punishing. For Scythe, your best neutral tools are N-Light, Sair, and Nair for the following reasons. N-Light, again, is very fast, hard to punish, and has an incredible stacked and anti-air hitbox. It is the lowest risk setup move in Scythe's kit, as it can lead to damaging strings as well as killing strings. Sair is great for use on landing as well as rising, as the hitbox is wide and covers a great area similar to N-Light, and has underused setup potential, which I will go on about later. Nair is great to catch jumping opponents and is very valuable on hit, as you can create setups using active input. Now for the best punish moves on Scythe, they are Sidelight, D-Light, and Dare for the following reasons. Sidelight creates several dodge setups and is by far the best punish move on Scythe, and can also catch opponents landing similar to Neutral Light, but it is harder to pull off. Downlight is a quick move that is great for punishing opponents who whiff far away, and can also create a lot of dodge setups. Dare is a great move for punishing when you are in the air, and has high setup potential as well. Notice that the moves listed for neutral interactions are good for baiting an option from your opponent, as they have very low risk when thrown out, and combined with good spacing and movement, they can be very hard for the opponent to deal with. On the other hand, the punish moves listed should obviously be used less in neutral, and are moves with the highest combo and setup potential compared to the others. Whiffing these moves are usually guaranteed with a punish against a competent player, especially if you are using them a lot. Mixing up these neutral and punish moves and successfully using them in the right situations can be an absolute nightmare for the opponent. As for the heavy moves, Ground Pound does not serve much use on stage, and I rarely use it as there is usually always a better option, and Recovery is a committal move used to call out landings or very high jumps. Scythe may be very difficult to use if you focus only on going for all the crazy strings and whatnot, but that is not what you should be worrying about when playing the game. I found that streamlining the moveset in this way can make the weapon simpler and easier to play. Now, for the best part about Scythe, those juicy dodge punishes. I will be going over every possible setup and punish that Scythe has, and when they are most useful. Most of these strings are for situations in which the opponent has just burnt their dodge. So, with that being said, let's get straight into them. N-Light strings into Nair, Sair, and Recovery at any damage range. N-Light can be used for Nair and Sair strings at early damage, and N-Light into Sair or Recovery can be used to kill at later damage ranges. N-Light is quick on hit and has tight dodge windows, with N-Light into Nair being a one-frame dodge window. This move can be used easily to catch an opponent lacking, even if they still have their dodge. Weak Sidelight strings into Nair, Sair, and Recovery at any damage. If the opponent doesn't jump, you can land Weak Sidelight into Dare. Weak Sidelight, when hit up close, strings into N-Light, however this can't be done if you hit it far away. Weak Sidelight Sair is one of Scythe's strongest kill options. Heavy Sidelight at low damage can string into Downlight, N-Light, and Dash Jump Dare if you're feeling cheeky. On another note, certain Scythe legends can string signatures from Weak Sidelight, like Mordex and Artemis. Weak Downlight strings into Nair, Sair, and Recovery if the opponent jumps. Again, certain characters can have signature follow-ups from this move, like Mirage and Artemis. Heavy Downlight can string into Sidelight, and end light. When you catch your opponent out of a dodge at low damage, you can chain Nair and Sair into themselves. However, the full string is jumpable after the first Nair into Sair. If you read the jump, make sure to chase dodge up and catch them. Nair also strings into recovery at low damage. Reverse Nair can string into Sair, Dare if they fast fall, and recovery if they jump. Grounded reverse Dare can string into downlight and sidelight. Now Sair is a move that is highly underused by Scythe players for string potential. At low damage, if you land the bottom side of Sair on the ground and then chase dodge into the ground and then sidelight, you get a very tight dodge window of 1 frame. I hit this string a lot, and it is extremely useful as it is rarely dodged because of the low dodge window frame. This same technique can be used for downlight after Sair, although the dodge window is larger. At low damage if you're in the air, the move can string into Nair like mentioned before, and Dare if they fast fall. Sair follow-ups are dependent on where Sair is hit. For example, if you hit the bottom part of Sair, go for Dare. If you hit the top, you can go for Nair. For down air, this move has the highest punish potential out of Scythe's kit, with both the forward and reverse versions offering high stun for true combos. At low damage, reverse Dare can string into Sair while you are aerial, and can also string into sidelight, endlight, and downlight for a true combo when timed right, usually involving a dash. At low damage, forward Dare can string into Nair and Sair. At higher damage, normal Dare can string into a weapon toss offstage, or even another Dare. Another useful trick is to practice wall combos. At high enough damage, if you use normal Dare into the wall, you can true combo from the wall into ground pound, or even another down punch. This can also combo into a weapon toss. For recovery, there's only a couple of things you can do at low damage, those options being Sair and Dare. However, these options can create huge strings at low damage, so hitting recovery at these ranges is usually very good. And then for ground pound, there isn't really much you can do. It's really only good for offstage, say if you read a fast fall after a Dare. These are all of the reliable strings you can pull off with Scythe at all damage ranges. Don't forget to incorporate signatures into these strings, whether they are confirms from legends like Artemis, or reads off of moves like Neutral Light. To make the most effective use of these strings, you need to land the right hits in neutral, gathering as much info as possible on your opponent's habits. Most strings are reliant on not just reading dodges, but what your opponent does after the fact, like fast falling and jump timings. Is your opponent dodging after every hit? Well, wait for it, and then punish it. Are they not dodging at all? Well, then feel free to keep on attacking. This is why Scythe is one of the strongest weapons in the game, as it provides ridiculous pressure and incredible positioning on almost every hit you land. Its potential lies totally on how well the user themselves are playing, because if you fail to find these reads and setups, you will find yourself struggling badly. Offstage is the holy grail of Scythe play. It is among one of the strongest weapons offstage, along the likes of Gauntlets and Hammer. With the right plays, you are able to turn around the result of a match completely with a nasty gimp. This begs the question, how do you do this consistently? Well, just like you gather info on your opponent's habits in neutral, it is crucial you do the exact same offstage. How do they react when you throw them offstage with Dare? How about Nair? Do they dodge in, or do they dodge away? Here are some common setups and tips I use when playing offstage. Nair and Sair while recovering. Like I said earlier, when you are recovering, it is actually best to use recovery first, as it is very punishable when saving it as the last option back. You should be putting yourself in a situation to use Nair or Sair when coming back to the wall. This way it is harder for the opponent to challenge you when they are trying to edgeguard. If you hit Nair, send them behind you. If you hit Sair, they either go back on stage and you have the wall to yourself, or if they bounce off the wall, it can lead into another reversal situation. Nairs from the wall. Scythe's disadvantage is very good due to the nature of active input, so you should be patient when trying to come back on stage, threatening space with Nair. One hit of the Nair and the situation is suddenly favorable. This tip also ties into the previous one. Getting risky. Don't be afraid to go out there and try and make plays. For example, if you Nair or dare the opponent off stage, you can get a little risky and throw out another move. If they've shown they don't do anything, throw out a Sair after dare or Nair. If they keep dodging in, you can punish with a recovery, and a really good option I use a lot is gravity cancel sidelight. Weak sidelight into recovery, like mentioned before, cannot be jumped or fastfalled, and it is a potent setup tool at low damages, as well as a kill option at later damage. Don't worry about missing. Oftentimes the opponent scrambles to get back on stage once you do so, without realizing they can be caught again. Scythe is very quick and forgiving offstage in this way. Resource management. This tip applies to both you and your opponent. Anytime you are offstage, always keep an eye of what resources your opponent can come back with, such as the jumps, the last time they burn their dodge, if they have a recovery or not, and things like that. You also need to keep track of your own resources, so you know how deep you can go for a punish. If you go too deep for a punish, you can find yourself in a terrible situation and can even straight up self-destruct. A technique I like to do a lot is resetting your jumps by touching the wall during an offstage interaction. If you are unsure whether or not to keep going during a string, instead of chasing an opponent offstage, you can just safely reset on the wall. Mastering the setups and punishes in the previous section of this guide are key to excelling offstage with Scythe. When you do end up getting a dodge read, knowing what moves flow into each other at certain damages and being creative with your plays are how you get the greatest reward. Also, another note, gravity cancel downlight is the best offstage kill option on Scythe, and it is almost impossible to dodge when used right. When your opponent is low on resources, get ready for them to be in range for a gravity cancel downlight, and as soon as they are, react accordingly and let it rip. Scythe in the current meta has a handful of good matchups, and in my opinion is a top 4 weapon in the game. The only real losing matchups I see are Lance, Axe, and Bow, with the rest of the weapons being winning or even matchups. These weapons do good into Scythe because of high priority moves and anti-air attacks. For example, Lance does good into Scythe because of its high priority on the ground and in the air, and it is really hard to get plays on Lance off stage as Scythe because of Lance's recovery options. Bow and Axe have extremely fast and large moves that are very good at baiting Scythe's options and interrupting what a Scythe tries to get going. The best Scythe legend right now is Mordex, with incredible stats and signatures and a reliable secondary weapon. The worst Scythe legend would probably be Jiro, with less than desirable stats and signatures. And the best standalone Scythe signatures, in my opinion, belongs to Nyx. Despite these notes, I think every Scythe legend in the current meta is viable, and you should really just focus on the pick you like the most. Well, that concludes the Scythe guide. It really has been a long time in the works and covers pretty much everything I know about the weapon and how I think about it. I hope you learned something from it, yo. If you did, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more, and make sure to send this to a friend who is trying to learn Scythe. That being said, I'd like to thank you for watching. See you guys in the next video. Again, I'd like to shout out Dragon City for sponsoring this guide. It really means a lot. Remember to check out the link in the description to snag 15,000 food, 30,000 gold, and the extremely rare black metal dragon. Thank you for watching.